case, so we can hear.
We should be live now.
We are. Oh, we got iLaser guy
lo-fi
in
music
the
1 hour
building.
mix. Alrighty.
Nice. I think we can jump in.
Yeah.
All right. So we got Blitz's team first. The Auckland Alakazams.
It has Dragapult.
Yes.
It does, in fact, have Dragapult. I mean, he had the first pick, so that feels like a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And from
I like
there,
his wall breakers. I don't like his speeders though. Like I like his walls and brawl breakers, but like his speeders aren't the best, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I think like
he's got a lot in the 60 range, it looks like,
Yeah.
and the 30 range and 40 as well.
and Dragapult Darmanitan is so scary though.
Yeah.
Ari says I can't see anything. I can see it, Ari. I don't know why you can't
I
see
think
it.
that's just Ari Wi-Fi.
Yeah, it might be Ari's internet. I don't know. Oh, Polo said he had this in Bubba Stream. Laser wanted Pult. Yeah, Laser, we all wanted Pult.
Yeah.
It's rough.
I liked the Toxic Spikes on Weezing as well. I think that's going to be a pretty easy thing to bring alongside Dragapult.
I agree. Being able to hex spam with Dragapult is really nice.
Especially like the option of Specs Hex as well, which I really like. But...
yeah, that's solid.
Yeah.
Alright. One thing that I want to try to do, because we didn't do it in the last stream, gonna try to get everyone involved, just saying that now. So Swar, what are you thinking? What are you thinking about this team?
I like Darman, I like the wall breakers, but I don't know.
It does seem like there's something missing.
Yeah, I feel like only having Manectric as his other fast one is kind of annoying, because you don't always want to run Scarf Darmanitan. Even though it is possible with Porygon, to be honest.
Yeah. And luckily, those two mons are like, they're above base 80, so their scarfs aren't really being outsped by much.
Mm-hmm.
I do think there's like a middling tier mon missing. Like, I think that's what it is. I think I would like to see like a base 80 here instead of all of like the clogging around base 30, 40, and 60.
Mm-hmm. I feel like let me have a look at tiers, like something like, I don't know, Klefki maybe 75, but that's not really a speed, is it?
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, everybody knows I don't like Eldegoss as a mon. I think it's a bad mon. It provides nice utility, I guess, here, but you have things like Girder and Weezing. You don't really need those to get rid of hazards.
Yeah, like he has like his little regen core with Slowbro Eldegoss, but like, you know.
Yeah, I know Blitz loves Eldegoss, and the fact that he's tier 5, like, he asked me, I remember during the draft he had asked me, like, oh, what do you think about me taking Golisopod and Eldegoss here? Because he had the wheel pick, and I was just like, I mean, I like Golisopod on the team, because it gives you, the fact that there are so many gaps in the speed tiers, like, having that priority is nice, yeah. Like, having priority with Golisopod and Girder is really nice, especially when you look at looking at his wall breakers like Porygon and Darmanitan. If for some reason they don't pick up kills, then he has priority to just come in and clean up the kills.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this team is good. Like, I think it's fun.
Yeah, I do like it. I think, if I were to change one thing, it might be Umbreon, to be honest.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, maybe Umbreon. Yeah.
In that tier 3 slot.
Umbreon feels like it's sort of the thing that sticks out, because I don't know, you have things like Slowbro, but I'm just looking and like passing wishes to things.
It's not
Porygon,
bad, like Steelix and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Like being able to pass wishes to Steelix, being able to potentially pass a wish to like Weezing. If your Weezing is like your primary wall that week, then that's
Golisopod even.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I would worry there is like being able to reset the emergency exit is kind of annoying.
Oh, I don't know how that works, but
Yeah, because if you,
guess.
I think the way it would work is if you pass the wish, if it's back up at full, if you get below 50 again, emergency exit hits.
Oh, okay. I see,
So that could be, that's like a double-edged sword, because it's nice to have the free pivot, especially if it's like you come in, you hit something with a first impression or an aqua jet or something like that, and then you get hit and end up pivoting out into something else. But at the same time, it's also kind of annoying if you wanted to stay in and then you get bumped below. So I don't know. That's sort of my thought.
Yeah, I feel like if you had like another good fast mon, I think this team would be good. But I really like the Manhattan Porygon with Dragapult. Like 2 Wall Breakers with Dragapult, that's awesome.
Yeah, I agree.
Wait, is this mon still open?
There are
Mantine is open actually.
That could be interesting. I mean, I'm looking.
It's not too different of speed though, but
I'm looking at tier 3 and I'm seeing things like Passimian could be good. Like, I'm just looking for like middle tier Scarfers and stuff like that. Like Passimian would be a really good mon there potentially.
yeah.
Braviary's solid. Oh, Rick, can you zoom in on the dock a little bit so they can see it better?
Yeah, I'm fixing that.
Cool. Yeah, we got you, Laser. Yeah, I do think that there's...
I think it's fine. You could maybe make it better if you did like a few changes. Like I think you'd have to change quite a few mons to keep a sort of similar dynamic, but also then fixing the speed tiers. And I don't know if you want to risk that so early.
Yeah, I don't know if he needs it, to be honest. I feel like this team can just work at is right now.
Yeah.
You know what another really nice potential mon there would be? I like Sigilyph there.
97?
Sigilyph could be a cool addition to this team.
Possibly. Where do we put it? 4 or 3?
It's in tier 3, but I still think it's solid.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just looking at the speed tiers, and I mean, Toxicroak could be kind of interesting, although double poison, maybe not the
It's a
best
grounded
thing.
poison though.
It is a grounded poison. That's true.
Like,
yeah.
To have 2 poisons, Wheezing and something like Toxicroak is a good pair. But,
Man, I would actually really love getting rid of Eldegoss, picking up a different low tier spinner, and grabbing like Virizion. That would actually be a solid.
Yeah, I like original.
I like that a lot. But anyway, we can sort of jump to the next team because we have 11 other teams to go through.
yeah, a bit more.
So the next team we got here is Bubba's team, Canton Corphish. Shout out to Bubba. I sent him a draft plan, which was originally my draft plan, with like a specific core of Corv, Sylveon, Rotom Heat, Gallade, and he went and grabbed it. So
Yeah, this team looks very good. Wait, how do you say it? It looks very appealing. It looks very appealing.
it's, man, I wanted this team so, like, all of the mons that are on his team, I considered at one point, outside of a Selgor. But like, oh my goodness, like I said, Core Rotom Heat, I mean, I drafted that. And then I wanted Sylveon, Flygon was on my plan, Gallade was on my plan. I absolutely love this team. I think he has the best tier 4. I think he has one of the best steel types. Rotom Heat is arguably the best and most versatile fire type in the format. Like, I can speak volumes on this team. I think the one thing that it's kind of lacking is hazards, but I think it has good hazard control, so I don't think he's going to be too worried about that.
Yeah, he might be
having to
pressured
bring
occasionally
Wigglytuff.
to bring a Celdor or Wigglytuff, but
Exactly. That's the part that's like really pressing. But honestly, I don't think this team necessarily needs to have hazards on the field.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think
his offensive presence.
because he has a lot of momentum.
That's true. Yeah, with Flip Turn with Starmie, he's got U-Turn with a Selgor, Volt Switch with Rotom Heat. He
even
can
something
Baton
like
Pass.
Curse on Haunter.
Yeah, Baton has Sylveon too.
Yeah, he's got the like. Yeah, this team has a lot of momentum. You're right. So yeah, I think hazards would be pretty solid. but I don't know where he would switch that out. Like, I think maybe a Alolan Persian, because that kind of seems like the thing that.
Like, he already has a 115. Like, it's still a solid dark type, but hazards are kind of important here.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think Wigglytuff is still a solid option, and I do like the fact that he, in weeks where if he's running Wigglytuff Sylveon, for instance, like he can run Sylveon more offensively in those weeks, still use Wigglytuff as a Wish Passer and like as a Rock Setter, and just kind of as a defensive fairy, and then be able to switch into Sylveon on like fighting type attacks that Wigglytuff doesn't necessarily want to take, as well as being able to switch into Corviknight for pretty much everything else that Wigglytuff doesn't want to take. So
yeah, I can totally see like Choice Specs, Starmie, or Sylveon with this much momentum going.
Yeah.
It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun.
Especially because 115 base speed at modest hits 329, which is 1 point faster than base 100s.
Oh, it's so annoying.
Oh.
Base 115 speed stats are the worst to have to prep for.
Yeah.
For that reason alone.
Same thing Raikou does, same thing, you know, Persian can do technically. I think that's going to be something he's going to bring quite a few times against. Because there's quite a few base 100s you can definitely get the jump on with Starmie.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think Bubba's going to have a lot of fun with this team. I think he, like... I mean, looking at the teams, and I guess I am a little biased because, again, like, I did have a similar plan in mind, but, like, this was definitely one of my favorite teams when I just kind of did a very, very quick look, but I do think that he could have some issues setting hazards, but I mean, I don't know. He doesn't have a spinner. Or he does have a spinner. It's Starmie. Never mind. I was going to say he doesn't have a spinner, so hazards aren't necessarily great. But...
He has nothing between 67 and 86 speed. Oh, never mind. He has 80. I'm an idiot.
Delayed. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, the Scarfers on this team, like, looking at things like Rotom, Gallade, Haunter, Flygon, Starmie, it's just... And I mean, even Scarf Persian. Like, Persian can come in, it can Parting Shot, and to pivot out and everything. It's like, this is going to be a hard team to deal with.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like he has like really good speed. Like, he has speed, like fast ones, but they're actually good too. And he has like slow ones too, so he doesn't lose Trick Room.
Yeah, and oh man, Vileplume is going to be so good on this team. Like, Vileplume is an absolute demon. Having to deal with that thing is just such a pain.
Yeah.
I think that's just about it then.
Yeah, let's move to the next team. We got Lemon's team. All right, so we got Lemon's team, and just as a heads up to anybody that wasn't aware, Lemon and Laser did play their week 1 game, so that's why there are stats for Lemon, and there will also be stats on Laser's team. Yeah, so this was another team. The speed is at the top is very, very good.
I really like the Zera to Noivburn jump a lot.
Yeah, I love that.
It's just so... The speed on this team is just, like, very oppressive. I mean, you have Zeraora, Noivern, and then you jump down to the base 110s with both Espeon and Tauros, and then Cobalion at 108, which is solid. And then Torracat, which actually was an interesting pick, but I think he might have made a transaction.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did. I'm pretty sure he switched it to Morgan.
That's right, yeah. I'm actually gonna... I'll put that in as a trend, like, because he did play, so I can update that, but... Yeah, he did. Morgan. Yep. Okay. So yeah, I mean, that's definitely an interesting pickup, and I think Shaded can talk on Morgan a bit more than any of us.
I think at tier 5 it's a super solid screen setter. If I like Bulk is not to be slept on, it's surprisingly good offensively. Like, you wouldn't think that from, I believe it's 75 special attack, but it actually hits kind of hard, thanks to just Fairy being such a good type, Dark Fairy not really having too much that rules it. Nasty Plot from Prankster is great. Obviously it has Thunder Wave, it has Trick and Taunt. It's pretty much all you want from Mordrum, but you're lacking that sort of bulk up set in return for a Nasty Plot set.
Okay. That's fair. Yeah, I mean,
You also are kind of restricted in, do you want to run Eviolite to be as bulky as Grimmsnarl, or do you want to run Light Clay so you get more screens? But a lot of the time, if it's a suicide kind of mon, then you don't need the Eviolite bulk anyway.
Yeah, then light plays better. I see that.
Yeah.
I don't really like Sandslash or Alolan though. Like, I do not see the purpose of this one. That rapid spinning.
I agree. I'm not a big fan of Sandslash. I think it's kind of rough.
It's steel type, isn't it? No, Cavalion is.
Yeah, I think he could potentially upgrade Sandslash. Like, just looking at the team, I mean, he has Colossal as a spinner, he has a Magic Bounce Mon and Espeon, he has Noivern as defog options. I think that's definitely where
I feel like this team is also gonna run like Choice Specs and Choice Band on like Tauros and shit because he also has like good momentum.
Yeah, no, Tauros. Oh, Tauros is so scary.
Tauros is such a solid tier 4.
Yeah, it really is. And I think Tangle is a very underrated tier 5. Like, Tangle is another one. I mean, comparing it to
People
Vileplume.
underrate it.
Yeah.
It's just so good on paper and then in game.
It's so annoying to deal with. Like, it's so hard to break.
Yeah, if you don't have knockoff or toxic, then it's fucking disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Sandslash I think could be improved for some better value. Like, that's the thing. I don't even think, looking at this team, I think again it's missing like a middle tier. It's missing like a middle tier mon. Like something in the middle speed tier. Sorry.
Yeah.
Like
an 85.
Yeah, something. In
Oh,
like
85 would be really nice.
Yeah, even like a Rotom form could be kind of nice.
I think all of them are gone.
Oh.
Apart
Never
from Spook.
Okay, yeah, I was just thinking like 86 would be solid because it would outspeed the 85 Scarfers, and like having the ground immunity would be nice since he only has one mon that isn't grounded. With no
Wait, where's his ground type?
That's actually you raise a really good point. There is no ground type.
Oh, I was like, okay.
I always
Jealous
think
is his
Colossus
wall.
is ground.
But he
Yeah,
has
he has
Zero
like
Aura.
Zero Aura. Yeah, I was thinking like he only has Zero Aura, I guess, which is good.
I was about to say Sandaconda, but it's already taken. That would have been solid tier 4 ground.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I would have liked that.
Polo and Bubba talking about how Lemon hogged all the speed. Yeah, he's got a lot of speed on this team. That is true. That is very true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, maybe he just drops a little in Sandslash for Boltund.
Yeah, that could be interesting. I don't know. I think a ground type, like, there were a lot of ground types in tier 4. Looking at the doc, it looks like a lot of them are gone. Yeah. Hey, you guys in the chat can't complain about the lack of speed. I still see Jolteon on the board.
Oh
And Boltund.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you have Palossand, which is super good, taken, Piloswine taken, Rhydon gone. Sandaconda gone.
Yeah.
There just
I think-
isn't one left in tier 4.
Stunfisk in tier 5. But that's kind of slow.
Stunfisk is kind of slow.
Oh yeah, he would be able to go to a tier 5.
Yeah. All right. Well, does anyone else have anything else on this team? I mean, Hazard looked good. I think it's a very good team, and I mean, Lemon's a good player, so I expect him to sort of.
Yeah, I really like Hazard stack with this team actually. I really like Hazard stack with this team. If you can stack Hazards, then Zero or Noivern just go in like crazy.
Yeah, Colossal's a really good one at doing that.
Yeah, Colossal's really annoying.
Colossal Jellicent, I really like the look of.
Oh yeah, I see that.
Jellicent is a mon that I think I've always wanted to draft, and I just never do. It's like Roserade. Both of those teams are just really hard to... Or both of those mons are just really hard for me to get, it seems. And yeah, Laser said no ground type. Yeah, that's definitely one of the things. Like, I think that's the biggest knock on this team, is that the lack of ground type is is pretty strong. But I think a lot of the lower tier, like his high tiers are very good, and I think the lower tiers is where he should have probably prioritized a ground type. But it doesn't look like there are many there.
Okay, wanna go next?
Yeah, sure, why not? Who we got next? Oh, Kersey. We got Kersey's team next. So I know Kersey got sniped quite a few times. So his general plan was Psy Spam, and he definitely got it. He got a Poison Dark to sort of help with the Psy Spam like answer. He also got Magnezone, which is nice for trapping steals.
Oh,
But-
I kind of like this team. I like the trick
This
room
is
option.
Psy Spam in a nutshell.
This
Yep,
is
Psy
100
Spam and trick room. I really like trick room here actually.
Yeah.
like the thing about Kersey. You have to know a few things about Kersey. The first thing is he doesn't care about typing duplication. Like I've seen this man draft triple grass 3 or 4 times. And the thing is, Kersey's a very good player, and even if he's sometimes sort of drafts himself into some weird corners with his typing, he's still going to make it work. Like, I fully expect that Kersey will make playoffs, and Kersey will definitely be a tough out for, like, this league as a whole. And I think if you didn't tell me this was Kersey's team, and you dropped this in front of me and said, who do you think drafted this team of all the people you've played draft with? I would say Kersey. Like, I mean, he doesn't care about the speed tiers too much. He's not really harping on that, and that's the thing. This team is incredibly slow. Like
85 is the highest.
Oh shit!
man.
That's true. Oh
He's-
no.
It
he's
is
got.
hard trick room, hard Psy Spam.
Mhm.
And that does kind of put him into a corner against teams with other terrains, teams with good enough trick room setups to reverse a trick room, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
But if you look at his team, everything takes a hit.
Yeah.
Every mon on this team, outside of, I mean, even Noctowl has like some weird bulk.
It's
Yeah.
super
It's
special.
100 HP. It's fine.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is definitely it's a well-constructed Psy Spam team. I think he took some of the dark types off the board that people would have been using to counter it, and I mean, he got the best steel type, like the best magnet pull trapper. So
Yeah.
I'm excited to see him use this team. I really am.
Yeah, I really like Pylos one on this team with Ice Shroud, to be honest. Like, he's not so fast, so like priority is really nice.
Yeah, if he's outside of terrain, priority does look
Oh,
very
true.
good.
Oh no, he has such train with Pylos one. Oh
yeah.
no.
Yeah.
So yeah, outside of terrain, but
It's
the thing is, Piloswine, Kersey loves Piloswine because he comes up with some demon sets sometimes. Like Kersey loves his trapping sets. He loves that stuff. And Necrozma is a mod I'm also very excited to see him use, because every league I've been in to date, when people draft Necrozma, I feel like it either gets dropped or it just sits on a roster and doesn't really get utilized.
yeah.
Like, or it's set into like a trick room setter role, and then it just kind of dies and lets the other trick room sweepers come in. So I'm excited to see how he uses Necrozma, because I think he's gonna be able to use Necrozma to what its full potential actually is.
Yeah, I definitely need to see a reason why he drafted it over Mew. Because Mew was on the board at this point, and obviously Necrozma fits the team better, but I feel like Mew is like...
Mew would be nice. I think it's
Ooh,
just
yeah.
preference.
Mew on this team would be very, very scary.
Hmm.
And I don't know if he even needs that, but I feel like he's kind of lacking a physical breaker, so I can see him running like physical Necrozma more often.
Yeah. I mean, Necrozma
He
is
has
his
like a
highest
lot of
attack.
special breakers.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
know,
I
I
think
think
that's the
that's-
nature of
it-
side spam, though.
It can
Yeah,
be
that's
overwhelming.
true.
And
You do kind of wish your fighting type was a little stronger than Scrafty, though.
I mean, the nice thing Scrafty does have is the DD
It's
sets
another
and-
dark type Taken, but
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, Scrafty can be really, really annoying if you let it. Like the
Yeah.
DD sets with Moxie are definitely terrifying, and also Necrozma can be a good physical breaker as well.
Yeah, for
it
sure.
can. But
I will say that Pangoro is still on the board.
Yeah, I would have liked Pangoro more than Scrafty probably.
Yeah.
I don't know, like Scrafty is like a sweeper and Pangoro is like a breaker. I don't know if what he prefers on this team, to be honest. Because Driflim is also fast with Unburden.
I think Kersey wanted the bulk more than.
Yeah. I can see how Intimidate helps this team.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, Intimidate is definitely nice for this team.
I can also see how like Banded Pangoro helps this team.
Yeah, I'm thinking about like Banded Pangoro and Trick Room, and that sounds horrifying.
Yeah, exact same speed tiers as well, so it's not like he's missing anything there.
I know originally we're talking about how slow his team was. Originally, he wanted Galarian Slowbro. He also wanted Flygon. Like, Flygon was on his original plan, and that was going to be sort of his source of speed, and then he got sniped by Bubba.
Yeah. That's I think my main issue is like even on hard Trick Room teams, I like seeing a mon like Noivern, like Bolt and whatever. Like this one mon that is just good speed control. It means that people can't just prep anti-Trick Room because what about this mon?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like
exactly.
Boltund. I think it's underrated, to be honest.
Man, I don't like Boltund. I guess a lot of people like Boltund. Maybe me not liking it is just a hot take, but
I don't think
it doesn't
it's
get
a hot
Ice
take.
Fang.
Yeah.
No Ice Fang with Strong Jaw, kinda like I feel like it's a missed opportunity. Boltund could have been a really good mon.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I'm looking at Kersey's hazards.
He
He's
has
got
two
Rocks
rock
with
outs, I think.
Necrozma. He's got Rocks with Piloswine. I don't really think he's going to be too worried about Rocks. I think it's more he's going to try to deter other people from Rocks, and he's going to like be putting things to sleep with a Moongus, and then kind of just setting up and trying to just kind of blow things back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm kind of imagining a team where instead of Necrozma, there's Zam. Because that's still
Zam
on the
was
board.
so.
Ooh.
Oh, that was another thing. Wait, Swar. He wanted Kadabra, right?
Yeah, he wanted Kadabra.
Yeah, so he
Oh.
wanted Kadabra and laser sniped him of Kadabra because he was gonna go Zam. That was the now I'm remembering. He was gonna
Yeah.
go Zam instead of Necrozma. He decided to go Necrozma because he was gonna get tier 5. I think instead of Noctowl, he was gonna go tier 5 Kadabra.
Yeah.
And then Kadabra got sniped.
But
So
yeah, okay, that makes a lot more sense then.
So I think his original plan had a little bit more speed because he had like
Zam, Flygon, as you said, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that would have
So-
been really nice, to be honest.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know
mean,
though, I'm very interested to see how it functions.
Same. I think getting where he got sniped, he was able to recover. So I think for the most part, he's probably pretty happy with his team. But yeah, I think he plays Polo week 1, so that'll be a fun matchup. We'll be getting a Polo's team
But
Oh,
then
yeah.
if Zeb strikes.
in a
Oh,
little bit.
soon.
So I know Polo is lurking in the chat. So speaking of lurking in the chat, so the next team we got is Primal's team, and I know Primal's also showing some love to the stream. So let's start chatting about this team.
Oh.
This team.
Oh, I like this team. Wait, this team is good.
This team is hella scary. Like
Shit.
We
He has
just-
rocks, he has removal, he has wall breaking, he has setup, he has momentum.
He has the
And all of that
triple
really
belly
good.
jump call.
this.
Yeah.
This definitely has the Zank seal of approval for those of you that didn't figure that out early on. Like, this team has webs. It had like webs with Como is so nice.
Yeah.
Like and-
Oh yeah.
having webs with Taxtricity is stupid. Having
Oh no.
having the
Webs
ability
with
to
Azu
spin them
is
away.
really can be important.
Yeah, Azu, like being able to get Azu.
There's mons that it has to play rough that are just faster than it sometimes.
That's very, very true.
Like Mandibuzz, but now actually Mandibuzz is a bad example, but
But the nice thing is, look at this team and look at the fact that he also has some of the better Azu answers in the format on his team. Like Como is one of those mons that that Azu has to play raw. And
Oh, yeah.
he has it on his team. Like Bronzong is something that Azu has to click knockoff against. And
it means it can't run something like Bulldoze.
exactly. Like it would have to run knockoff that week specifically for that, which
and
definitely
then
hurts
it
it,
can just
especially if
run
it's
Colbert, and all of a sudden it's just stopped.
Yep, exactly. So I mean, this team is so scary. When Primal, oh my god, when Primal
And I
sent
feel
some of
like
these-
he dropped it like really smartly because like his lower tier mons are actually good too.
Yeah,
So,
I
like,
like lower
It's
tier
very
three.
smart.
Yeah, he took Baby Mandibuzz.
he also took one of the Taxtricity counters in the format and Rhydon. Like he was him and I were talking the other day, and he was just like, "Yeah, I have Taxtricity," and I was like, "I need to grab Rhydon like immediately because of just the fact that like it's one of the only things that live hits from Taxtricity. Like there are not many things that are switching into the combination of Boom Burst,
Sludge Wave.
Overdrive, and Sludge Wave being two of those being Punk Rock boosted. So yeah,
I feel like one of the things you also need to realize is he took probably the best soundproof Pokemon in the game.
oh yes, I forgot about Soundproof. That's right. He has two of the best.
Oh,
Toxicity
come
counters.
on! True.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
so
damn.
true.
I think one thing, if I'm going to point out anything, I think he might have needed to prioritize a little bit better is Sandslash being his rapid spinner doesn't appeal to me. I always think a team like this, who you look and you say, okay, Kommo-o, Taxtricity, Azumarill, and Charizard to an extent all have really big sweeping potential with webs up. But whenever your main removal is also defog, you kind of either have to deal with hazards on your side or have a good spinner, and I don't see Sandslash coming to a lot of the games when he has Rhydon. So I think prioritizing like a higher tier spinner somewhere, like maybe Serena somewhere or something like that. I don't know if there's any tier 4s that get spinning, but a higher tier spinner would really help out this team a lot in
Yeah, I
dealing with
agree.
hazards.
So one thing I do really like is something where you're looking at this, and I think if you have webs up, I think Rotom-Mow and Sandslash definitely are good for that. Like I would like another pivot here. I think if anything, like I would like another. I mean, Cincino gets, I believe it gets U-turn.
Yeah.
And Rabombi also gets U-turn, but I'm thinking like if you have a situation where Rabombi or Rotom are in, webs are up, you pivot out and then you pivot into Sandslash. And like the things that are going to be threatening those mons aren't going to threaten Sandslash. You're thinking like poison types and fire types that are threatening Rabombi and Rotom-Mow, and even steel types for Rabombi. You pivot out into Sandslash and you basically get a free rapid spin. So I think in that regard, I think it's really nice. I think I look at this team and I think Rhydon or Sandslash will come to a lot of games, but I don't necessarily dislike the fact that Sandslash is his spinner. That's just me personally. Like I think Sandslash is a very good mon. I agree that they function in a similar fashion, but I think Rhydon is going to be coming to games more so when Primal needs a offensive mon that can also take hits defensively. Like I think that's where he's going to bring Rhydon in games, where it's like Rhydon kind of like is coming in to sit in on a specific threat and be able to set rocks and just kind of push buttons.
What about
And Primal
Morpeko,
did say
though?
that he said he wanted Delmise but couldn't fit it, so yeah, I mean, I think for where things are placed, like I think he got a very good deals. Like Taxtricity is a very scary mon. I think Azu, there's the combination of Azu, Taxtricity, Como, and Charizard. Like you have so much setup there that you have to worry about.
I think maybe he should consider dropping Chinchino for Lanoon for the quad belly drum combo. Alongside Zard and the other two, but you know, Chinchino, it's fine.
Yes.
Yeah, I do
I like
kind of see where Cage is coming from with this momentum thing, because you got to think Rotom-Mow and Taxtricity both get Volt Switch, but that's just walled by ground types when you Volt Absorb. And then Ribombee gets U-turn. I don't know if Cincino gets U-turn.
It does. I checked it. I checked.
And then Volby gets U-turn. Which, again, I don't know how many games Volby comes to. Like, I look at this team thinking Komao, Rotomo, Bronzong, Rabombi, Rhydon, and then either one of Azumarill, Taxtricity come to most games, right? With how good his high tiers are, I'm just finding it hard to say that Sandslash and Volby are going to come to a lot of the games, especially when one of his tier 4s is Cinccino. Like, his tier 4s are Cinccino and Charizard, which again are just really, really good tier 4s. I think the biggest part with this team that he might have, I'm not gonna say overlooked, but might have not went as planned, is based on his defensive Pokemon not being able to pivot. You have to hard switch into things like Komao, Taxtricity, or Azumarill. And I don't see a lot of scenarios where you want to do that and then set up a Belly Drum or a Clinging Souls.
See, you're saying that as though Bronzong can't explode to pivot.
I mean, true, but
Which
I mean,
isn't even a joke.
Think about what Bronzong would have in on it, right? Or think about what Rotom would have in on it, or Volby would have in on it. I don't know what Pokemon, like having a Pokemon that threatens that in, it doesn't give you room to go into your sweepers and set up a lot of the times if you don't bring the right ones every game.
Yeah, I feel like better momentum would have been nice. Like better momentum
For the defensive mons.
Yes, defensive momentum, not offensive.
I feel like he could have even gotten a good offensive Fastmon, like instead of Cinccino maybe, if that is even possible.
Like the only thing I can see is Toxtricity running Volt Switch and hoping that something, like, I don't know, because you can't even say running Volt Switch and then a ground type coming in, because a ground type would just block the Volt Switch, which is hard. But if Toxtricity could pivot out and go into Azumarill, those two things cover each other very well, right? Like, they cover each other's weaknesses. But since Toxtricity's momentum is Volt Switch, it's hard to get Azumarill in to be able to sweep at that point. And Azumarill doesn't get any momentum, so it's kind of the same thing.
I'm going to be completely honest with you. I don't think he's really going to need to be bringing Azu in on switches. I think what's going to happen a lot of times, Toxtricity, like, the thing is, ground types really can't just freely switch into Toxtricity, because Specs Boom Burst does a lot to a lot of ground types. And, or even like +1 Boom Burst. I think the biggest thing is going to be, I think a lot of times it's going to be a scenario where Primal's going to let Amon go down, and then he's going to bring Azu in. And then he's going to get a free belly drum. Like, that's, I don't think you necessarily have to depend on positioning Azu or Komao, for that matter, on switches or on pivots. You can literally chip things, get them down, and then bring the sweeper in and just click the buttons.
Yeah, I see that. I think yes.
I think what I'm saying mostly is this team is probably going to struggle a lot with other teams that are able to put pressure on it the whole game. For the reason that what you're saying, he lets Amon go down, he comes in with something and he sets up. Any team who's going to be able to consistently pressure him with a couple Pokemon on their team, he's going to have a hard time setting up. And any team that makes him have a hard time setting up, I think that's a bad matchup for him, definitely.
I think that's just how offense as a playstyle works, though.
It is. It definitely is. Yeah, no, I absolutely love the team. I think like I would have so much fun playing with this team. Because
it's an offense team that has all the upsides and all the downsides of an offense team.
Yeah,
and that's pretty much it.
Is, like, it has the defensive pivots. It has the type of defensive pivots you want, and that's I really like that. But yeah, let's for the sake of time, let's try to move on. If anybody doesn't have anything else to say. Cool. I think we got Polo next. Okay, so
this is the Boom Caparaja, cool.
This is yes, it is time, Bubba. Yeah, I like this team a lot too. Like, there are definitely a lot of teams. Like, you can look at these teams, you can tell the people in here definitely know how to draft. Like, everyone, I feel like everyone's team is just very good. I mean, Rillaboom, Incineroar, Caparaja, Hitmonlee, and Pex, that's just such a solid team around Rillaboom.
Yeah, he's got a super good Firewater Grass there.
Yeah.
And then he's got double Unburden with Hitmonlee Slurpuff.
Yeah. Please, Polo, don't run Grassy Seed Slurpuff. Don't do that. That's not good.
Yeah, I don't think it's actually a good idea. I mean, unless he wants to do Cotton Guard, but
Yeah, no, I don't think that's a good idea. But
Cotton Guard
like,
sword power? Does it even get sword power?
probably. But like having the sheer threat to be able to belly drum with Slurpuff is really nice. Toxapex being able to cover a lot of just like the things that are threatening Rillaboom is nice. And I think one of the things is, and Rick can probably attest to this, a lot. Rillaboom coming in hates Scald. Like Scald burns are the absolute worst for Rillaboom.
Yeah,
So being
that's
able
why
to
it's
switch
good he
pets-
has Toxapex.
Yeah. Being able to switch Pex in for Rillaboom is just like it's gonna be big for him.
And even Rotom Fan to an extent for that as well. It kind of takes the Scalds pretty well, as long as you're not switching into an Ice Beam. The biggest thing, again, I've said it before, and it was the reason I wasn't too keen on drafting Rillaboom to me, is I feel like a lot of the times you have a hard time bringing it, and if you're bringing it, you're kind of bringing it defensively a lot of the times. Like, I'm not using it, when I used it, it wasn't with Grassy Glide, but I think my point still stands for a lot of teams, because a lot of teams could not really be that threatened by Grassy Glide. I think one of the smart things that Polo did is he took one of the water types that could probably take a Grassy Glide pretty well, in taking Toxapex. But outside of that, like, I think his team helps Rillaboom fill a more offensive role, because he's got the good defensive ground type, the good defensive water type. He's got I'm going to call Incineroar defensive. It can be offensive, but I'm going to call it defensive for the sake of argument. A good defensive fire type that can parting shot out on water type switching in, allowing Rillaboom to come in. And it's also a good fire type that helps pressure things like the Corviknight and the Skarmory that's going to give him a tough time. I think Rotom Fan is a good electric type. I think having a more offensive electric type might have helped him out a little bit better with that as well. Because
that sounds like you're sleeping on Rotom Fan.
yeah, you say that so it doesn't have 105 special type and nothing.
Rotom Fan, I have got, like, I don't know. I did not respect Rotom Fan until I actually used it. Once I started, like, I think after this season of ISL, you'll start to put a little bit more respect on Rotom Fan.
No, Rotom is always a good Pokemon, but I'm thinking something like Jolteon would have been a little bit better here.
It's also kind of a comfort pit for Polo, because he uses it a bunch in Ubers.
I'm thinking Jolteon actually, thinking about it, Jolteon is a really, really good pick there. Like, he has to find a flying type somewhere else, but Jolteon as a status absorber, plus a fast Pokemon, and a more offensive electric type to help with the flying types that are going to give Rillaboom a hard time, like Mandibuzz, Corviknight, Skarmory. Having that Pokemon there to absorb status, be a Volt Absorber for Pex, and all kinds of stuff. Like, I really like Jolteon on this team, which is my only kind of nitpicky thing. But overall, the team is very well built.
Yeah, I don't think, based on the comments, I don't think that Jolteon is making any kind of appearance on this team.
Yeah, probably not. But
What has he said specifically?
F Jolteon, never drafting that garbage again. So yeah, Jolteon will not be on this squad.
as long as we all agree that it's better.
I don't know. I actually really like Rotom Fan on this team. I think it provides a ground immunity. So if he doesn't necessarily want to bring Rillaboom, or if like he ends up having to face a different terrain team or anything like that, Rotom Fan is having that ground immunity is nice. I also think that it just really helps the hazard game. I mean, he has Defog on Drampa, but you don't really want to run Defog on Drampa. The same thing with Hitmonlee with Rapid Spin. And that's kind of my biggest issue with the team is that, and he has Spin on Mime Galar, but you don't really want to bring Mime Galar to a bunch of games, especially when you have such good Mons around it. Like, I would expect you are almost always bringing like your Firewater Grass Core here, Rillaboom, Incineroar, Toxapex, and then everything else is going to be what supports the matchup better. But that being said, Rotom Fan is going to have to be in a role where it's going to be potentially carrying Defog. But no, Rotom Fan, I think helps hold this team together really well.
I think it is kind of stuck into a role, which is kind of what you're saying. It's kind of doing the same thing that it does on my team in ISL. It's probably going to be coming boots Defog a lot of the weeks with Air Slash Thunderbolt or Volt Switch and maybe a status move or something. But it is still good on the team. I was just kind of saying what else might be a little bit better.
Oh, I just realized this team reminds me so much of Primal's team in UGL.
Yeah, it's very similar.
Rillaboom, Incin, Water Poison. It's just Tentacruel with Rapid Spin there with Super Help. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Toxapex and Tentacruel are two of the best water types to put in grassy terrain.
I agree.
I mean, obviously.
I told Polo, he actually messaged me and was like, what's a good water type to pair with Rillaboom? I told him Tentacruel at first, because I do think Tentacruel is the better option. It gives you a Rapid Spinner. It gives you a Rapid Spinner so you don't have to worry about defogging your own terrain away. But Polo's been wanting to use Pex for a while, so I told him Pex was fine.
Yeah. I mean, I do think a Tentacruel option here and then upgrading one of your other picks is interesting, though.
Yeah, I think taking Tentacruel would allow him to, like, looking at it, taking Tentacruel would allow him to drop Rotom Fan for Jolteon and then maybe upgrade Lycanroc or something like that. Or
I think he'd be able to get a tier 2 from that point.
I think so. Yeah, because he'd drop. Yep, that would be the case.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that could be an option, but I think this team's very well put together. I think there's
Lycanroc to beat flying types too.
Yes, that is a very good point. Yeah, and just having Accelerock is nice.
Yeah. Even without Volcarona.
Yes. I mean, there's still things like Charizard floating around, so...
Yeah. There's a lot of mons that are just abusing boots and forgetting that rock types actually exist.
Yeah, but I don't know. And I think the mons that really give this team, like... that really make this team, like, are just so polo, I feel like, are Caparajah and Palossand. Like, I expect that to be very... Those are two very, like, polo-esque mons.
Yeah, there's no doubt he's happy with what he got. I think this is one of the rarer times I've seen Polo get a good team and actually be happy with it and not want to trade everything away first.
Yeah, I'm excited to see him use this team. I really am. Alright, next we got Python's team.
Yeah.
Oh, this is straight offense. This is like, you get webs up and then you start pushing buttons. That's literally what this team is. I love it.
Mamoswine is insane. Like, Mamoswine Hydreigon, I feel like there's not really much that can deal with that.
And then you pair that with Gardevoir for anti-weather matchups, and...
Yeah. I'm ready to see him bring Torkoal and Gardevoir against a Chlorophyll mon just so he can get his own Chlorophyll.
Oh my god, yeah, that...
Torkoal might look dumb here to most people. It almost is, but it's kind of... For the tier 3 slot, it's a defensive fire type, which I think is very useful as the Fairy Resist for Hydreigon. And it's also a rapid spinner on this team.
And...
So I actually think, despite it setting Sun, which it doesn't need to do, but I think despite that, it's still a solid choice there.
It also gives Gardevoir and Hydreigon better matchups against Steel types. Because you can then come in, if the Sun is set, you then come in and click fire moves against Steel types, and they're doing big damage.
You also have the Weather Ball options on mons like Torkoal itself, Roserade. Yeah.
Yeah, I like this. I like Galvantula as A, the fastest mon on this team, the fastest mon on this team, and B, a webs option. I think, like, one of the things that Scarf Gardevoir, Scarf Mamoswine, even Banded Mamoswine, like Hydreigon, Gyarados really like is webs. And I think he did a very good job of drafting webs with this very offensive team.
Yeah, like, it has the same kind of issues we saw before with whose team was it?
I think it was Primals. Yeah.
It's just, you know, anti-offense teams do numbers to this team, obviously.
Yeah, his only real like defensive pivots are gonna be Torkoal and Dust Noir.
I think one of the things that sticks out to me the most is it's weird. Like, I can see where Torkoal actually does help this team out, but I think a lot of the times he probably doesn't want to run Drought, because you've got to think about Gyarados getting up a Dragon Dance. Gyarados can run through a lot of teams, especially with Moxie, and now it gets things like Scout Shot and stuff. But nerfing, if you bring Drought Torkoal, you're kind of putting a timer on yourself to when you can get Gyarados in and click D-Dance and start waterfalling things. And I don't really like that on a team that's not necessarily a Sun team.
But Torkoal has 3 abilities.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying he probably wouldn't run Drought a lot of the weeks. Or
I think Shell Armor is honestly fine, especially on like an Iron Defense set, which I think Torkoal can run extremely well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Torkoal is a good fire type Torkoal's the better Drought mon to not have to run Drought on, I think.
Yeah.
Also, Primal brought up in the chat, think maybe Venusaur over Gyarados and getting a tier 3 water type would help. I agree to an extent. I think if he wanted to go the route of a Sun team, then that would be solid. I do worry a little bit about having 3 base 80 on the dot mons, just because like Gardevoir and Mamoswine are both good choice users. Gyarados is going to be DDing, and like being able to outspeed those base 80s and not necessarily having to worry about speed ties or stuff like that is nice. And I also really like Roserade being able to throw down spikes and T-spikes.
Yeah, I think Roserade is very important for this team, because I mean, if you're missing that base 90, you're scarfing a lot of your base 80s, which isn't the best, because I feel like with this team you kind of want to be switching moves a lot of the time, especially on things like Mamo. I think early game Mamo kind of wants to come in and just click some buttons and set up for like a late game High Dragon or Gyarados sweep. And Spikes just helps out with that even more. Being able, like, hazard stacking with this team actually is not even like, it's a pretty good threat, because you have a good rocker and Mamo and a spiker. And does Roserade get T-spikes? I think it does. Spiker and T-spiker in Roserade, and a very good rocker in Torkoal too, and a rapid spinner in Torkoal, which means you're not defogging your hazards away. So I like the way this team is built already. I was just kind of saying, I think a lot of the times Torkoal probably doesn't need to come as Drought, because it will just, I think, hurt Gyarados more than you want it to. Especially when Waterfall is the stab that it uses, because it gets like its flying stab is bounce. So
also, this mon gets a lot of hate. I cannot wait to see Phalanx do something in this for this team. Like, I think it's such a cool mon. I think having like being able to basically block intimidates with Defiant effectively and stop things like Gyarados from being intimidated, Mamoswine from being intimidated is really nice. And I just really want to see this thing put in work.
And he's stopping freely just defogging, which helps with hazard stacking again.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, it's definitely a good mon on this team, because he doesn't really need the super offensive fighting type. Like, he doesn't need your Gallade or like anything like that. He literally just, or like no like Conk or anything crazy like that. He literally just has his fighting type that if it gets set up, it can actually put in a lot of work. Yeah. And I mean, getting a Defiant boost makes that thing very scary. I'm looking forward to seeing a Defiant Phalanx sweep. I really am. I hope
its other ability is Battle Armor, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Which, I mean, on no retreat sets is technically a thing, but you know. I mean,
basically, I'm saying if Phalanx isn't worried about being intimidated, or he's not even worried about defog that week, then Battle Armor is not a bad ability for it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Are we ready to move on?
Yeah, let's do it.
I suppose.
All right, we got Laser's team, and so this is one of those. This is one of those teams I was looking at while he was drafting, and then at the end, I looked at the team and I was like, "Wow, this is such a Laser team," and I feel so bad for the rest of this league. Like, this team is. I really really think that this is gonna fit Laser very well. And he went and picked up goddamn Gengar. For those of you that don't know, Laser's Gengar in Season 2 of ISL had 23 kills and 5 deaths in 11 games. He came to every game, and that doesn't even count playoffs. Like this thing, like he made a finals run with it.
He's already got 4 kills with it.
Yeah, Laser already got 4 kills with the Gengar. Like this thing is, oh my goodness! There's already an emo in the server for 2 veterans kill leader. Don't let him make another one.
Yeah.
That's just Gengar, but slightly bigger.
Oh man, yeah, but yeah, no, I really like this team. I think like Laser's very comfortable with Vaporeon.
Pairing Gengar and Mandibuzz together was very, very good.
Yeah, getting Mandibuzz early is always just makes a team better, because Mandibuzz is just one of those mons.
Because, I mean, I like the Gengar Incineroar, but when you think about Gengar Mandibuzz, you have to think that Mandibuzz comes in and takes the dark type attacks. Gengar can take the fairy type attacks pretty well, and then Mandibuzz is also ground immunity since Gengar is no longer levitate too. So those two.
It also resist Ghost.
Yeah, and those 2 things just pair with each other very, very well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, then he has the nice thing is too, like he has the priority with Comfey. He has glare support with Sandaconda. Kadabra is hitting incredibly hard. He's got wish support with Kangaskhan if Vaporeon has a bad matchup. Gourgeist is very good because it can be bulky, it can be more offensive. Like just the different sizes of Gourgeist are really good. Lycanroc Dusk is one mon that arguably could have been tier 2. We left it in tier 3. I think it's one of if not the best tier 3. It got stupid amounts of coverage with the DLC and like
it's such a good rock type.
Yeah, it's one of the only rock types I think I would ever draft, especially in limited.
I've told KJ before, every single draft plan I've come up with since NPAA where I have Lycanroc Dusk has had Lycanroc Dusk on it at one point. Because you think, okay, I need a rock type, and a lot of the times I end up with tier 3 slots, and I look at it and it's like Lycanroc Dusk hits a great speed tier, hits incredibly hard, has a good attack stat. I don't really need the defensive rock type, so the offensive rock type is very, very good. And honestly, I think offensive rock types are probably better than defensive rock types anyways, because rock covers a lot of things. Whenever you're looking at draft teams, you'll see teams that just have a lot of rock weaknesses, and it has an 100% accurate rock move, which is really, really good in Excel Rock. So I don't know, Lycanroc Dusk is a very, very good Pokemon, and in limited decks it can kind of run wild because it gets CC, Play Rough, Outrage, Stone Edge, Excel Rock, what else is Psychic Fangs, I think it gets in Headbutt. Like,
probably gets Lash Out as well.
Yeah, Lash Out. Like, the coverage on this thing is stupid. Crunch, I'm pretty sure it gets Crunch.
It gets Crunch. I don't know about Lash Out. I think Midnight gets Lash Out. I don't know if all of them.
I was thinking of Tauros.
Fair. Yeah, no, Lycanroc Dusk is so good though.
Something, I don't know if it's a problem, but just something about this team. The lowest speed is like Fat Gourgeist. Like he has a very, like his speed tiers are good, but he kind of just, it's very fast. So I feel like against Kersey's team, you know, I feel like he just kind of can't do much to respond to that.
I think the nice thing about it is though, he can invest.
Manabuzz, I think is good.
He can invest in bulk in things though. That's the thing. I think like now this is the 4th league. This is like I've been in ISL with Laser now since like he was one of the first people in ISL, and like he always seems to draft teams that have speed but also can run bulky. And I think this is a perfect example of that. Like Comfey has the priority, but typically it's not going to be running a ton of speed. It just wants to be, it just wants to have bulk. Yeah. Vaporeon's going to be incredibly bulky. Like Sandaconda is a bulky mon.
Mandibuzz, obviously.
Mandibuzz is incredibly bulky, and I think
it's not an issue. It's just something I've noticed.
Yeah, I think the good thing about his lower speed tiers is that they act in their speed tier, right? Vaporeon not going to be running a lot of speed. Mandibuzz not going to be running a lot of speed. Like Vanillux is kind of the one of the lower ones that he has that you'd be running speed in, or even the different Gourgeist forms. But most of his Pokemon that are lower speed tiers act in that speed tier. Like it's not a Poltegeist that is at like 70 or 75, I think, that wants to be running Shell Smash and being faster. It's not like a Cloyster with Shell Smash or something. Like all his Pokemon there are defensive and act in the speed tier that they're in. So I think that's really important. Like it was a really good pickup for his team.
Yeah, I think I completely agree. Yeah, and like Primal said, the priority on this team is absolutely like Comfey with Lycanroc is just so crazy.
And then Fake Out and Tiny Snow with Scrappy, you got Sucker Punch and Cinderace.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. We haven't even talked about Cinderace. Like,
Yeah.
Cinderace is just...
I think people give it a lot of flack for being in tier 1 with Blaze, but I think it's still solid.
It still
I think it's solid too.
It still hits pretty hard and it has really good coverage. Another thing is the momentum on this team is, I think, just enough for this team. Like you look and you've got U-turn on Cinderace, U-turn on Mandibuzz, you've got U-turn on Comfey, flip turn on Vaporeon now, which just makes Vaporeon a lot better. You have to think too, Vaporeon and Gengar defensively and offensively pair with each other very well, because any kind of grass type that wants to come in on a Vaporeon, if it flip turns out on that turn, Gengar comes in and pressures it, Cinderace comes in and pressures it. So I think the momentum on his team pairs very well from his defensive to his offensive Pokemon.
I kind of wish...
he has like really good momentum too. Like his mons with momentum are like really good with it.
Yeah. I kind of wish the team could pressure electric types a little more, because Vaporeon Mandibuzz sharing that weakness, and like his resist being Gourgeist, which is nice, but you don't always want to bring, and Sandaconda, which might be put under pressure because of that. I feel could be an issue.
Yeah, I think the nice thing is here, he like left himself an out, because I think while Vanillux with the support of Veil is really nice, I think later down the line, if he feels that he is being pressured by electric types a little more than he would like, he could always sort of pivot there.
Yeah.
And I think that's the kind of nice part about this. Like,
actually, wait, yeah, thinking about that, he doesn't have a dragon.
He doesn't need one.
Mean,
he doesn't need one, but
I mean, yeah, looking at the team, he doesn't really need one. Like,
that's why he's so electric weak, though.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I definitely.
I think Sandaconda is kind of underrated to an extent too. Like I think Sandaconda actually does a lot more work for this team than what it usually would. Pairing that with Water Absorb Vaporeon was also a really good idea, because like you have to think, okay, I'm pressured by electric types and I don't really want to be switching in Sandaconda on things that maybe get coverage for it. So one of the main coverages would be, let's just say Rotom Wash maybe could give this team a hard time, but being able to kind of make sure that Rotom Wash isn't just freely clicking Hydro Pump and Thunderbolt between Sandaconda and Vaporeon, like making sure that the other person has to win the 50-50 is nice for those two paired together specifically.
Yeah.
And yeah, just looking in tier 3, there are, I mean,
I'm thinking Drud over Vanillux maybe. I think
Drud is there.
Go double Blair. It's time.
Appleton's there. Like, there's definitely options for him to pivot if he wanted to. Like I said, Drud, Appleton. There's a lot of ground types still too. Like he could, if he wanted to go double ground, especially with Sandaconda being a more fast ground type. Like there's Golurk, there's Rhyperior, there's Mudsdale. Like there's definitely options here.
I kind of like Vanillux to pressure Bulky Waters with this team.
That's very fair. That is very fair. I think.
Because at the same time that he's pressured by electric types, he doesn't have an electric type.
Yep. Mm-hmm. That is very true. But he does have priority with Comfey.
Oh yeah, Giga Drain.
Giga Drain priority is really nice, and that will pressure a lot of Bulky Waters. And like
Giga Drain Calm Mind, yeah.
Just like he can't necessarily pressure them as much, Vaporeon also kind of switches into Bulky Waters and toxics them and can heal build its own toxic off. So yeah, and Comfey also has the ability to heal off status. So I don't know. I think this is a very well put together team, and I mean, we all know that Laser's a good coach, and I mean,
Yeah,
it
this is a
shows.
laser team.
Definitely. All right. So should we go to the next team?
Sure.
Yep.
All right, we got Viz's team. So
Hey, Jirachi.
I really like this team too, but that's because it has a few of my favorite mons. Yeah, Jirachi is not one of those mons, but
Prim is top 3 in terms of tier 2s.
But yeah, he has Jirachi. He has one of the best tier 2 format. He has one of the scariest fire types in the format in Chandelure. He has a Rotom form and Rotom Frost. So yeah, I mean, this team, I think this team is going to depend on its high tiers to win games early, or like to win games. Its high tiers are going to be the ones that are doing damage. Its low tiers support things very, very well. Like this team is very good. I mean, all of his low tiers, it feels like all of his low tiers have removed Hitmonchan, Claydol, Rotom Frost, Togetic, like all spinners or defoggers. He has T-Spikes with Drapion. He has Rocks with Claydol. He has Rocks with Jirachi. Like, this is one of those teams that you think he's going to be able to basically put hazards down early and then pressure you so that you can't get rid of them. And if he needs to get rid of his hazards on his side of the field, he can spin because he has so many spinners.
I really liked Serena as a spinner on his team because Serena can run spin like with ignoring the whole like getting rid of hazards thing. Like, it can run spin on an offensive set because it wants to go +1 speed.
Exactly. Like, yeah, the fact that he has 3 spinners and 2 defoggers.
He's not pressured at all to bring any of his lower tiers, but they're all really useful when he needs to.
Yeah.
One thing to note is his fastest Pokemon is Jirachi.
Jirachi, yeah. So
Yeah.
he needs to run like Scarfers and shit. But what I really like on his team is he has Haxorus with Chandelure and Drapion. Because like the only things that really take hits from Haxorus are like flying steel types and like fairy types. And with Chandelure and Drapion, he has like really good mons to like counter that.
Both switch in and top pressure, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let's steal Jirachi.
Yeah. I think like people are saying in the chat, like, this Fairy Dragon Steel Core is incredible. Amon over base 100 would be nice, although I think with this team in particular, it's one of those things where he has good wish passers too. Like, Togetic can wish pass, Licky Licky can wish pass, Jirachi can wish pass, and so he ends up in a situation where even though he kind of would like a faster mon, he doesn't necessarily need it. All of these mons have pretty good bulk and at least one of the stats, and so this is a team where wish passing is definitely appreciated.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see him like he has like different ways to beat the speed problem. Either he can Dragon Dance with Haxorus, he can run Scarfrost, or he has a Thunder Wave on Togekick and Thunder Wave Body Slam on Jirachi too.
Yeah, that's very true.
Honestly, Sandaconda would have been nice on this team. having that glare option so you're not just relying on T-Wave for this team would have been very nice.
I'm very interested to see how Licky Licky wishing into Prim is gonna work.
Oh god, it's gonna be so gross. And
Because that
also,
sounds like disgusting.
I appreciate he got the mascot pick because you see the Primarina in the logo, which, by the way, this, as Polo said earlier, this is a fire logo. Viz makes all of his own logos, so hit this man up if you're interested in getting a logo commissioned. But yeah, I mean, this is a scary team. If he plays it well, which I 100% expect he will, this is going to be a very, very tough out.
Yeah, I was gonna say right at the beginning, just first glance of this team, that I wasn't too psyched on the Licky Licky Togetic picks because they're pretty passive picks. Like, they're really good defensive picks, but pretty passive wish passers. But then I kind of got to looking, thinking the rest of his team pressures things enough to where he can have those passive picks and still be in a pretty good spot. So I think this team is definitely well built.
Togetic can baton pass, so it's not super like it's passive, but it's not as passive as you would like really think it is. And honestly, it also spreads status. Like if Togetic comes in, gets a Wish Pass off, and paralyzes something, I think Togetic did its job. Like if Togetic can wish into, say, Haxorus that tried to break early game, or wish and pass into Chandelure, I think that's more than its job.
Yeah.
So,
and literally to kind of avoid that sort of passive issue because of Oblivious as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and like Prime was saying, he doesn't have a ton of hazards, and I was thinking earlier that I feel like Claydol has a very important role on this team and would probably be brought into most games. Which, like Primal said, if Claydol has a bad matchup, that's not gonna be great, because I feel like Claydol is a very glue pick on this team. That he's gonna want to be bringing to most games.
And I feel like this is a team that doesn't need to rely on hazards.
Doesn't need to rely on hazards, but I do think it needs to rely on Claydol, which is my point.
I know Jirachi does exist as a rock setter, but I get your point as well.
Yeah.
Are we at the last team, or is there more teams?
There's 2 more teams. We got
actually 3
Zeros. Oh yeah, 3. Sorry, yeah. We got Zeros, Swar first, then Zeros, then the misplaced Eskimos team. So yeah, we got Swar's team next. So Swar, you're in the call. Let's hear it. Let's give us what you got.
Wait,
here. This is
I just want to say something really quick. This team is the best because it has Grablock, okay?
No, Grappaloct is a bad mon, and I'm so upset that you
saying. What are you saying?
So upset that you peer pressured Swar into taking it. Swar, give us the scoop on your team.
Well, I got Aegislash and Mew. That's good. And to deal with the ghost types for Aegislash, I got Snorlax, and for the ground, I have Thwackey. I think I did go a little bit hard on Trick Room. I don't know if I went too hard or anything like that, but yeah, what do you guys think?
I mean,
I like the option of Trick Room, and you still have fast mons with Inteleon.
And you still have webs as well.
Yeah, true.
I feel like this definitely looks like one of those teams that like Swar and lab and prepping a plan, and this is what came out of it. Like this is a scary team. I mean, Aegislash Mew is terrifying. They share a weakness, but it doesn't matter when you have things like Snorlax to basically come in and take the special attacks, and you have Crocodile to come in, intimidate things, and resist the ghost type attacks.
Me and KJ have talked about it before, but we're both not huge fans of Crook. But I think Crook fits this team, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Double Intimidate is really nice. Like Quillfish, I think, is a mon that will come to a lot of games just because it has a good matchup. Like Ari, hold on. Ari says prediction time, Crook will be the kill leader for this team. I'm gonna go out and say it's probably gonna be Aegislash, but that's just what I think.
It's probably gonna be Aegislash, and if it's not Aegislash, I think Vikavolt actually is gonna go in.
You guys are forgetting about Graplock.
Yeah, Graplock is kill leader.
Has the most attacks that on this team. It's goated.
Like he also has Inteleon.
Not counting Aegislash Sword.
Inteleon kind of comes in and claims a kill. Like I can see later on down the road if Swar's like, okay, I need to make some changes. Just throw a rain, like a drizzle Pokemon on this team, and you have Swiftswim and Quillfish, and then Inteleon in the rain, kind of doing a lot of damage there.
With Aegislash too, yeah.
With Aegislash and Thwackey and Vikavolt, like rain,
and
a drizzle setter on this team isn't bad.
You're right. It also gets Octazooka.
The one thing I do worry about a little bit on this team is being locked into a defogger role. So I think like Mew's not going to have to set hazards. You have things like Crook, you have things like Quillfish. So those 2 mons are going to be able to push rocks or like throw down T-spikes or spikes. I think Mew is going to be more forced to be in a role where it's going to have to defog things away, because I don't like Turtonator as the only option for for removal.
I can see that.
I'm
The
like, I
thought
don't-
that I went into with when building this team was, so I was like most of our mons that are good aren't like really weak to hazards, and like hazards are kind of overrated with heavy duty boots.
that's fair. Yeah,
But I
Yeah,
see what you mean for
He's
sure.
got the toxic spikes absorber, and you got to think like things like Vikavolt don't care about spikes, and even if you said, if you're running boots, you're not really caring too much about what's called stealth rock. Aegislash doesn't really care about T spikes. Like T spikes against this team, I don't think is a problem. Regular spikes against this team, since you're only levitator / non-flying type, like there's no flying type on the team, so Vikavolt's the only thing that doesn't have to worry about spikes. I think if somebody was to get up 2 or 3 layers of spikes against this team, it does hurt it a little bit. But at the same time, how many people are going to be sitting there getting 3 layers of spikes up against the team, as long as you're
especially when you
pressuring
have
them?
one of the good spike setters.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think Scolipede went undrafted. Yep.
I think
Yeah,
one thing too is the Trick Room setter that you have on the team doesn't have any pivoting. So you have to kind of set Trick Room in hard switch, or run like a Trick Room Mew with some kind of pivoting move, which is kind of nitpicking, but I think having a Trick Room setter with teleport or baton pass or something like that would be good. Like maybe even if you don't need the wish pass there, maybe even Comfy. I don't know if it's taken. No, it is taken. We saw it on another team, I think.
So I have a couple of things that I would like on the team more. I agree with Zank when you say that hazards aren't really a big deal. I would say to push the Trick Room option a little more, swapping out Turtonator for something like Alolan Executor to give you another Trick Room option. It gives you a dragon.
It's
and
Trick
then-
Room teleport.
Yeah, it gets Trick Room with teleport, and at that point, then you can decide if you want to keep Thwacky, decide if you want to keep Grapple Locked, and potentially push for a different fighting type, or a low tier fire type.
Like Girder, maybe. Girder as
Yeah,
low tier fighting type would be pretty good.
Yeah, no, yeah. Is Girder available?
I feel
No,
like
it's on a
it
team.
would be.
I'm pretty sure Girder's on a team. But yeah, I think Alolan Executor is really, really interesting. And like maybe even something like Alolan Executor in tier 4, and then instead of Thwacky, maybe something like Reboot. Just as like another option, because tier 5 fire types are kind of rough. And then maybe a low tier fighting type like Throw or something like that.
Honestly, if Rapidash is still open, putting Rapidash on this team isn't bad.
I don't think Rapidash is open.
It is.
Oh, it is. Okay. Well, yeah, even Rapidash, and then taking like Sock, like Rapidash, Sock, Alolan Executor, or Thwacky, Turtonator, and Grapple Locked sounds pretty solid to me. But that's just my opinion.
You should also keep the Octopus utility and go for Octillery at 5.
Yo, I wanted to draft Octillery so bad.
Octillery is the fire type. It gets Fire Blast.
Also, why is Polo saying hush shush? I'm just saying, like, I'm just trying to help my boy Swar out. No, relax. No, that's
Polo
just
said
what I
there's
think.
already too many broken teams.
But how can you just get rid of Grapple Locked like that?
Man,
Yeah, it's not me, KJ. It's him.
I don't
He
think
loves
so.
Gravelock.
I think it's you. It's Zank. You've been in love with Grapple Locked since the damn game came out.
It's a golden mon.
That's such a
Dude,
weird
it's so
Pokemon. That's such a
bad.
weird Pokemon to like.
I've seen it.
No.
I've seen Grapple Locked drafted once, and Zank dropped it after 2 weeks.
Think about it.
Bro, the only thing Grapple Lock does.
No one has to know.
The
No one
only
has
good
to
thing
know.
Grapple Lock does is it sits beside Malamar and doubles and Octo locks it.
No, think about it though. You can Octolock something, then you can bulk up in front of it while its defenses are low, and then you Drain Punch and get your health back.
Yes.
It's broken. And then you have Taunt, so they can't heal. It's broken. How can
I don't know.
anything wall this mon? You're
I do-
immune to paralysis.
I do like the combination of Alolan Executor and Rapidash on this team. I think Rapidash with Flash Fire would be really nice.
And it
to
closes
cover
that speed gap between Inteleon and Mew.
Yep, it does. So yeah, and I know we have the next team actually is the next coach is a big fan of Rapidash. I've seen him put in some work with Rapidash. So we'll definitely have to see that. But yeah, if we're done with Swar's team, we can move on to that next team, which is actually Zero's team.
I did in fact tell him to pick up Hippo and Salazzle, but I didn't think it would end up like this.
So it's funny. So first of all, I don't know, like Zeros is one of the newer members of the ISL this season and very good coach. I wasn't sure what he was going to draft because before the draft, he says to me, I think I'm going to have work during the draft. If I left you with picks, could you pick them up for me? I was like, yeah, no. He's like, even if they're stally. And I was like, honestly, as much as it'll pain me to do it, like if you leave me with picks, I'm going to do my best to make the picks for you. So whatever you want, I got you. And then he was able to make the draft and he scared the living hell out of everybody in this division when he first picked Scar and Bliss. I got so many DMs like, why is this dude picking Scar and Bliss? So that's why you can see in the chat, Polo says at least Scarm is gone, but he replaced it with Ferrothorn. So I don't know if that's
Which is, I mean, it's worse than Kartana, but it's not bad.
I mean, at least its only recovery is Leech Seed.
As opposed to Kartana's Synthesis, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
This team looks like a demon. I would not want to play against this team.
Yeah.
This team does look pretty crazy.
Yeah, I told him early, you're gonna want a magic bouncer. Salazzle hard counter stool, so you want Salazzle. You kind of want Hippo for sand residual damage, and he just picked it all up. And
this isn't a knock on Scamp at all, but this team looks like a better version of Scamp's team.
Dude, this team is so.
Damn, like you have to prep for the stall, and you still have to prep for like Sandrush Dracozold.
Yeah,
and Sandforce Gastrodon, technically.
Yeah,
Shell Smash Crustle is a thing. Like,
if the dual team that has picked its win cons very well.
Yeah.
This team is gonna be like you don't taunt this team. You don't set hazards against this team. Like
Xatu is super good here.
Yeah, Xatu helps big time.
And the thing with Salazzle is Salazzle can come as sub Toxic Protect, or it can come as Specs. You know.
Or Nasty Plot.
Or Nasty Plot. You never know what Salazzle's gonna do. Dragon Dance, Scale Shot, like it's kind of.
The best part is, we look at this team, and even though there's so many like stally options, I still want to put it on the books that I think Galarian Rapidash is going to be his kill leader. Like,
I don't know about that one.
I think it might be one of the stealth rock Pokemon, to be honest.
The thing is, like, I saw this man pull off like some ridiculous Rapidash shenanigans in TBA last season, and I was just like, how did he position himself? Like, Rapidash got an agility off, and it's just like claiming kills. I just don't understand. Like,
I mean, Teleport Bliss and Rapidash do synergize with each other pretty well. Not gonna lie.
Expect like he doesn't even need double dance. All he need, like, the format is so slow and speed deprived that teleporting into Rapidash and getting an SD up is gonna be scary. Like, if it's not his, I don't think, maybe it won't necessarily be his kill leader, but I think it'll be top 3 in kills on his team. Like, Salazzle's gonna be a huge pain for people, and Dracozolt in Sand is also gonna be kind of nuts.
He also took the water type that deals with both of Rapidash's weaknesses in Gastrodon.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is
one kind of niche situation that might trouble him is deciding whether you want to run boots against other entry hazards, or if you want to run leftovers to deal with sand on Blissey. Which I think he has the freedom to run leftovers more often than not because of Xatu. But I think it could be an issue in building.
That's fair. Yeah, I think also Hitmontop's a very underrated because it gives him a spinner that can also be very offensive. Like, I mean,
Triple Axel.
I have Hitmontop
should have been tier 3.
Honestly,
yeah.
I'm waiting for the spin bulk upset with two coverage moves.
I'm waiting for the spin toxic subset.
No, detect.
Sorry, yeah, my bad.
Yeah, no, I agree, Primal. I think Xatu's going to come to a lot of games just because he needs to be able to like bounce away, taunt, hazards, etc. So
Yeah,
I mean,
feel
don't pass
even
up.
Trick
Don't
Room-
pass up the
even
trick room
Trick Room
option
was
with the
fun, though.
Paladon.
Yeah, exactly. Trick Room with Ferrothorn and Sandforce gets Rodon.
Yeah, and Zatu's the best Trick Room setter in the game. It's immune to taunt and it has Trick Room teleport. There's no mon that is better than it apart from Slowbro.
Even trick room with Crustle. Like Crustle's slow enough to be functioning inside of it.
Though it kind of relies more on a banded set because unlike something like Torkoal, it can't shell smash and still be slow.
That is true.
Does have Rock Wrecker though.
Man, this team is gonna be a huge pain. I think where this team is gonna potentially struggle is like there are a couple of super offensive teams. Like I can see Primal's team giving this team some trouble. Like if he can position it right, get something set up, and it's gonna be kind of scary.
Same with Python's team.
Same with Python's
but
team.
That's a matchup thing, really.
Mhm. Yeah, that's like the teams that aren't like HO or leaning HO gonna have issues with this team for sure.
Definitely.
Honestly, put Ditto on this team.
Oh no! Don't do it! Don't do it!
Do it.
Yeah, just swap Draco's ult for Ditto, and it's GG. Polo, Rick, shut up.
Just like
imagine Ditto on this team. It helps with that matchup so much.
It really does.
Yeah.
Primal, relax, bro.
Yeah. Are we really saying that Crustle doesn't do much damage? You've seen that 105 attack.
Oh, he said without a shell smash.
He says that as though one of the
Ari,
the 1v1 guy says that as though banded Rock Wrecker in 1v1 isn't insane.
Oh man.
Anyway.
Yeah, no, this is not a team I would play, but it's a good team.
Yeah.
We ready for the last one?
Yeah, let's do it.
We jumped the hyper offense.
We got Eskimo's team, which it's really interesting because every season he drafts a regenerator core, and then he plays it offensively. It's like it absolutely baffles me. But I mean, he's made playoffs in both seasons. He's been in ISL, so gotta give it to him. Like this, he's a solid player and he knows the type of teams he wants.
Why does it just have Dutcho and Lola at tier 4?
That's a steel type.
That should not be tier 4.
It is a tier 5. I've checked.
It is a tier 5. Yeah, that's definitely a bug in the sheet. That's on me. My bad.
Yeah.
Honestly, the first time I looked at this team, I was like, "What the hell is this team?" But now, the more that I look at it, it's actually not that bad. Actually, I think it's pretty good.
It's a team that's good at being annoying.
It is a very offensive regen core, as you said. I think Slowbro is the most offensive regen mon, apart from Mienshao. Which honestly, he could just get over match and just go in like that. But
I think Mienshao's tier 2.
Oh yeah,
so Primal brought this up, but I really like Machamp behind screens. I think he has I think that's gonna be a win con more often than not. Like Machamp behind screens, being able to whittle things down with Tangrowth, Arcanine coming in, like Goodra being able to just kind of be annoying and do Goodra things. Like I think Machamp and Clawitzer behind screens are gonna be his win con.
Yeah, and even a Specs Goodra behind just a reflect. That's all you need with Goodra. Just put up a reflect and then come in and start clicking Specs moves.
Yeah, and it's funny because Polo said the Regenerator Intimidate special again. So last season, Eskimo had triple Intimidate, triple Regen. He had I think it was Slowking, Tangrowth, and Mienshao, and then he had Lando T, Incineroar, and Granbull. So yeah, I mean, this is definitely going to be an annoying team to play against. And just the fact that Avalugg can come in and wall your physical attackers. He has Arcanine, the Regenerator core. I think a lot of this plan is going to be to set up the Grimmsnarl, Machamp, and Clawitzer wins.
I like double fairy here because both fairies do very different things.
I have
Yep.
a hard time liking Grimmsnarl in tier 1. Like, did somebody else in this have Morgrim?
Yeah, Lemon picked up Morgrim.
Yeah.
I do think Morgrim is probably a more
Morgrim is
valuable.
I think if you're relying on Grimmsnarl to set screens, Morgrim's always the better pick. Or even not having a Lolendug trio and having Klefki somewhere. I don't know, I'm not the biggest fan of Grimmsnarl in tier 1. I know it has to be tier 1 because it's like an actually good prankster Pokemon who can be offensive, but like when there's so much other value in prankster Pokemons other places, it's hard to want to take Grimmsnarl in tier 1.
I mean, Grimmsnarl is kind of what is kind of similar to how Pincurchin is tier 3. Like if you're drafting Pincurchin on its own, it's just like But like Grimmsnarl, if it was at tier 2, enables so much dumb stuff in terms of building.
Yeah, it can't be tier 2.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it definitely, it's definitely a pain.
I think the one thing, like I said, I think the one thing he could have done a little bit better is getting better value somewhere else. But overall, the team is still scary. So, but he does have 4 tier 2s, right? He doesn't have another tier 1, and I just yeah. So like his 1 tier 1 slot being on Grimmsnarl, I'm just not the hugest fan of it.
That's understandable. I mean, it's
this team.
It's one of those mons that if you don't use it correctly, it can kind of just sit there and not really like waste space as a tier 1.
Yeah, like I see mons like Toadkiss, Terrakion, kinda. Scizor is still open, like Keldeo. Like,
yeah, imagine if you got Scizor and was able to maybe even drop Dougie for like another ground type somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah,
because another thing is his Steel and Fairy are both super low tier Steel and Fairies.
Well, ignoring the fact that Grimmsnarl's a fairy, but
ignoring the fact that Grimmsnarl's a fairy, but I mean Clefairy being the other fairy that he has and Dougie being his Steel type. I don't know. It's hard. I think he could get those in better tiers if he didn't have Grimmsnarl, which is kind of what the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think he'll bring Grimmsnarl more offensively. That's my prediction. I think Grimmsnarl will be more of an offensive threat for him than a defensive threat.
Yeah, I definitely want to see this team function in a game because I don't know. I'm trying to move Rick. I just I don't see it yet.
I use Grimmsnarl, and don't get me wrong, offensive Grimmsnarl is very, very good. Bulk up light screen sets are good. Just straight up sub bulk up sets are good. The problem is that you want to run Sucker Punch all the time. If you're running an offensive Grimmsnarl, and any player who's going to be able to read those Sucker Punch turns and get something in that threatens Grimmsnarl isn't great, because Grimmsnarl does struggle to find the coverage to hit a lot of the things it wants to hit, because like I said, if you're running bulk up, you might be running bulk up 3 attacks and have Drain Punch for Steel types, but a lot of Steel types are just going to straight up be faster than you, and special Steel types really give Grimmsnarl a hard time. So I don't know, it's hard to see where offensive Grimmsnarl really helps this team out for me, but I don't know, I guess I could be surprised.
Yeah. So I think that's the last team, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's everybody thinking? How's everybody thinking? Like, how do they feel about these teams? What team do you guys like the best?
Whose was it? It was...
I don't want to be biased, but Viz's team is just my team.
Hey, that's fair. You can.
And I like what he's done with it a lot.
I like the team with Graplocked on it.
Yeah, I'm biased.
Oh my
I like
goodness.
that team.
An interesting team. I don't know. Apart from Viz, I think I just like offense, and I think the offense players, like the offense teams, are built pretty well.
I feel like every team is drafted well and smart.
Yeah,
I agree. I think if I had to, I mean, I also am in the same boat as Shaded. I talked about how Bubba's plan was very similar to mine. Like, if I had to pick a team that I would have the most fun using, it would probably be Bubba's. If I had to pick a team that I like the best, I would say it's either Primals or Lasers. I think both of those teams, like building flexibility with Lasers team is definitely huge. Just like so offensively oppressive that it's going to be really hard to beat him.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of lasers as well.
Yeah, I think. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I think the top 3 for me would probably be Bubba, Viz, Laser. If I'm being honest, and then Primal probably comes in at 4.
Okay. Yeah. See, for me, I think Viz is. I do really wish that there was a Mon over base 100. I think that would be the thing for me, and maybe another like Mon that sets hazards well.
Yeah. There's gaps in his team, which tomorrow we're gonna get to a team that doesn't have those gaps. But
damn, shaded out here, foreshadowing for.
I'm not saying my team is better. Actually, no, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Oh, that's good.
So I'm not saying that my team's better, but I am saying that my team is
I
better.
do have Pikachu on my team.
Yes, that is true. Shaded did in fact take Pikachu. So just to give anybody that's gonna miss tomorrow's stream, he does in fact have a Pikachu on.
And it has a vital role on my team, unironically.
I swear, if Pikachu ends up being your kill leader, it's gonna be so ridiculous.
It won't be my kill leader, but it's gonna be like it's top 5 in kills.
Oh man, I'm so excited to see these games. I'm really excited for this season. It's gonna
This season, yeah, I think every single team I've seen, both in the Pearl doc while looking at it, and just the 2 streams we've done, like everything just looks cool.
Yeah, I mean honestly, like this. I mean, Zank can attest for this. For like, the league started off very small, and this is now season 4, and we've just picked up a bunch of coaches, solid people. So I'm really excited. I think this is gonna be a lot of fun. Wait, Zank, I think you were talking. I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, I said I think it's gonna be a great season.
Yeah. All right, so I think we can just about cut the stream. We're approaching 2 hours, so
Yeah.
But yeah, so again, for those of you that are tuning in, thank you for watching the stream. Rick's gonna upload it sometime in the next couple of days, I would imagine.
It'll be up tomorrow.
Okay,
Honestly,
cool.
it might just be up later today. I don't know.
Okay. So yeah, when it goes up, we'll post in the plugs channel, and we'll make sure that we tag everybody that's at least in Diamond, so that if you missed it, you can tune in, or if you missed part of it, you can tune in. So yeah, so I think that's gonna be it. And again, tomorrow we'll be back same time, Pearl analysis.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then next week we get a break. Or do we?
I mean, I guess I'm still recording for a couple of different leagues, so I don't know if there's really, but
The grind never stops.
the grind does not stop.
All right, people. We are headed out. Adios.
All right. Take it easy, everybody. Peace.
Bye.
Bon voyage.